We spoke about it yesterday. The halacha of sous vide, if you're allowed to use it for Shabbos, but people complained it was too much bekitzer, the side explaining what the sous vide is and also the halachas of the hatmana and shehiyah. So just we're going to go over it again. First of all, I want to explain about the sous vide. Not a big expert at it, but that's what the big experts told me. So they become in the recent years become very popular to use the method of cooking with sous vide. There's the way it works. You have a container that can be made out of plastic, and by the big commercial caterers, they could take a big garbage container, they fill it up with water, and they put over there a heating element, and then they put over there in a bag a meat, to a raw meat, and it's for many hours it's cooked. Slow cooker, very good. All of the different temperatures, the different settings, there's different settings could be over there. It's all of them going to be definitely more than a yatzah. That's all definitely it's Indian of bishul. Now the shaila is, so that's what the sous vide is now, becoming more and more popular. A lot of now people using it for Shabbos, whether for Friday night, whether obviously they put it before Shabbos, whether for Shabbos morning. Caterers use it for simches. Sometimes you don't even know, but that they deliver you a meat that they prepared in the sous vide. So the shaila, if there is any problem halachically mitzad shehiyah or mitzad hatmana. Now I'm going to explain the kitzur. Shiyat one, I'm not planning over here to go into it ba'arichos because do no Rabbi say ki rabim hem and the yefshar lefortam. It's a lot of halachas. If you want, you can go look inside in Shulchan Aruch. But the bekitzer, one of the halachas which is it's easier than hatmana. Shiyat, it's easier than hatmana. That's if you're allowed to live before Shabbos, food that you're going to eat on Shabbos. It's a lot of halachas. If you're allowed to eat it, if you're allowed to leave it there, whether it's a blech, whether it's a crack pot, how and what, how much it's to be cooked before. Again, I'm not going into it. All I'm saying is the shehiyah, the halachas of a lot easier, a lot more kulas, more leniency than hatmana. Hatmana is more chomur. That's what we're going to go over. So the first thing that I want to clear out of the way, when I heard about the shaila of the sous vide, the first thing came to mind, what would be a shaila of hatmana over there? That's what, as the shaila came as hatmana. L'chora, it's inside the water. What kind of hatmana? Chazal talk about hatmana, putting it on the coals, putting it on some garment that moistif havel. L'chora, water, it's not hatmana. So first of all, to get this out of the, could be a problem for hatmana, because the Mishnah in Shabbos Daf Lamed Chesam and Beis, the Mishnah says like this: Ma'aser she'osu anshe Tveria ve'eviu. By the way, before I go to this, I know I just read last night. You sent me the someone else wrote an article about it. So Bekitzer, I'll tell you, he is noita with a big article I read to be machmer with it. So I'm not telling you a couple of daiti, and other I'm more noita to be makel with it. I'll just show you where I'm coming from without arguing with him with his rayas, and then you could take whatever you want. I'm sure there's a lot more written about this. Okay, so here is. First of all, why the water it is considered hatmana? The Mishnah says, "Ma'aser she'osu anshe Tveria ve'aviu silon shel tzoinen l'soich amo shel chamin." The chamay Tveria, they're naturally hot the whole time. So the people wanted to have hot water for Shabbos. They find a very, very modern way of heating up water. They put a pipe going through the chamay Tveria. And they got hot water. They put it before Shabbos. So that says, if you're using this water for Shabbos, it's like somebody cooked food on Shabbos or boiled the water on Shabbos. You're not allowed to use it. You can take no shower and no drinking this water on Shabbos. If you're doing it for Yom Tov, you can take with that water shower on Yom Tov, but mutorim b'shsi, you can drink it. Now, I'm going to the Gemara. Omar Rav Chizda, mimaise, the anshe, she'osu anshe Tveria, v'osrelu rabbonon. So since Anshe Tveria did this hanoge, put the pipe before Shabbos to have hot water on Shabbos, and Chachamim asked it to them, botlo atmona. So as I said yesterday, Rashi says botlo meaning ne'esra atmona. So again, you see from here the Gemara called calling this method hatmana, going through a water. Yeah. So Mamela the hatmana become osur. B'dovar hamoisif havel. What kind of hatmana before Shabbos? It's osur. We're going to soon read it inside the Tur Shulchan Aruch. It was b'dovar hamoisif havel. If you put something heating element that's not only retaining the heat but giving heat, that's osur. Afil mebodiyam. Oh, Omar Ula lemaisa halacha kanshe Tveria. Ula said that you're allowed to do this before Shabbos. B'dovar hamoisif havel. And use the water the way Anshe Tveria did originally. Rav Nachman kvar tavrinu Anshe Tveria l'silanayu. Rav Nachman says no. After Chachamim told them that they already broke their seal, meaning they stopped doing what they're doing. It's osur to bring hot water. Even you put the pipe before Shabbos to make a hot water for Shabbos, and it's happening on Shabbos. It's also hatmana b'dover moisef hovel osur Erev Shabbos, even though it's not Shabbos, that you're not allowed to do it. Okay, so now I'm going inside the Tur, and that's how it brought also in Shulchan Aruch. It's like this. And toimin b'Shabbos afilu b'dover she'enu moisef havel. If it's on Shabbos, you cannot wrap it even with a towel. Towel is not dover or moisef havel. You cannot wrap the food on Shabbos. And by the way, hatmana, it's lekula alma. It's important to remember that prat, because later on it will become enough kamina. It's when you wrap the food completely from all over. Not if it's at some open spot over there, it's not hatmana. So Shabbos, you're not allowed to do budover. You cannot take a towel, wrap the pot completely from all over. Afilu she'enu moisef havel.
Before Shabbos, can you?
Yes, before Shabbos you could do that. Aval sofek chashecha, sofek in the chashecha tomim. Not only before, even sofek chashecha, you're allowed to do that. And Erev Shabbos muter l'hatmin b'dover she'enu moisef havel, aval lo b'dover moisef havel. Erev Shabbos you're allowed to do that, but the b'dover moisef havel so comes out mitzad hatmana if the food is fully wrapped, like this sous vide, the bag of the meat going inside. It's going inside the water, fully wrapped with the water, and it's a b'dover moisef havel because there is a heating element that can constantly heating the water. So according to what we just read, that would be osur. The pashtus, that would be osur to do it before Shabbos, because that would be hatmana. Okay, now I'm going to read another important over here. Oh, this is the very again. That's how we're gonna get to what we're gonna get. Pirush Rashbam. Kol ma de osru hatmana davka kshelo igia lemachal ben drosoi. The whole Isur, he learns Rashbam that the Isur of hatmana it's equal to the Isur of shehiyah. According to him, it's similar. It's no more chomor, and that's why according to Rashbam, if the food got to the level of kamachal ben drosoi, which is machloikas, if it's shlish or half a bishula, right now we're going to go with half a bishula, be more machmir. If it's 50% ready to eat, so b'shasat chak, like that robber ben drosoi, if he would need to eat it quickly and go to his next robbery, he would eat it. It's called already muchan lachila. And how much more? If it's more muchan, memela, it's not shaykh hatmon. According to Rashbam, if the food is already halfway cooked or more, it's already you could do hatmona. Aval, aval imigil magal shore. That's what the Rashbam says. Okay, Rabbeinu Tam Piresh sheyoseresh lachmir ba'hatmona b'shiyah. That's very important to remember that prat. That's how most poskim the B'Sheisov brings follow the Rabbeinu Tam that ba'hatmona were more machmir than b'shiyah. B'shiyah, there's a lot of opinions. If it's already muchen kamachal ben drosoi, all the halachas of shiyah doesn't apply. Again, I'm not going to the details of that, but it doesn't apply anymore. The reason that hatmona it's more chomor lefish mashin letzorich mochor, since you leave the food for it's not for the night, for the Friday night usually. It's done for Shabbos morning. V'tzorich chitu itfei. You need to keep it longer for the heat to go on, and then you might, because of that, play with the fire. We're more chashash by hatmana, because usually hatmana for the next day, and you might play with the fire. And again, I'm saying the word play because the olden days that you would stir the coals, you might fan the coals. Today we don't have coals. It might be you're going to play with with the controller of the stove. So he says, "V'osur afilu nizbashel kemachal ben drosoi," and the Beis Yosef brings from the poskim, even it's fully cooked, it's osur, unless it's nitztamek v'raloi. It's already so cooked that every time it cooks more, it gets worse. Then there's no chashash. You might go and do something because it's just going to do it worse. You don't want to go any further. You just want to retain the heat. Okay. So again, so we see over here even though we're paskin, like all the paskin saying like Ramatam, not like the Rashbam. However, the Darche Moshe brings over here, he brings Lamaisa Taki with paskin like the Ramban. Like the Rabbeinu Tam, not like Rashbam. Ella, I'm just reading the end of the Darche Moshe. Ella she'en limchus biyad hanoyagim heter al piv. Yeah. So Lamaisa, he says, if somebody did the hatmana when it was already edible, let's call it just edible, forget on machal ben drosot, it was already edible before Shabbos, he did the hatmana, even though according to Ramatam it's osur, he says if somebody did, en limchus, you did it already, if you see you're going to a simcha and you know the caterer did not know or didn't care, he did like the Rashbam, he put that, by the way, the sous vide most of the time before Shabbos it's all edible already. So, and he left it there at Atmon, he says, En moichin v'yodom, don't make a big tararam in the middle of the Kiddush, let people eat the meat, let people eat the cholent. Okay, now, so this is the, so far, mashma, so far what we see, it's osur to put the sous vide before Shabbos, but normally by the sous vide, it's mizbashel v'yofeloi. It's getting better and better. It's getting softer, the meat, sitting there a longer time. So that's according to Rabbeinu Tam, it would be osur. Now, here is another heter over here, the Ramo. I'm reading now, before I was from Darche Moshe, I'm reading from the Ramo. יש אומרים, דם שוכח ויתן בשוק בדבר המויסף הובל שורה לאכול, ויש אומרים, דכל זה נעשו אלא כשעשו לצורך לילה, אבל כשמטמין לצורך מוחר מותר להטמין בעדיין בדבר שמויסף הובל. There's another, he brings now the Mordechai, that's another sniff, another heter. When the whole machlok is Rashbam and Rabbeinu Tam, it's only if you need it for the night. If you did it the next day, he says, there's another heter of the Mordechai, he says it's allowed to, because it's the same idea over there, you must see das till tomorrow, even though Rabbeinu Tam argued the other way around. You might even go more because you want the heat till tomorrow, you might do something. Mordechai says, no, if it's for tomorrow, you're going to forget about it. You're not going to be 12 hours, 15 hours. For tomorrow, you're going to forget about it. It's allowed to. Ubedi'evet, again, yesh lismach al zeh, b'lvash rogil asas ken. Ubedi'evet, he says, if you did it already, more mashma of b'shas chag, because it says, shelo yeh rogil asas ken. Once in a while, b'shas chag, you can do it, but don't have the habit. Okay, that's so and again, we don't have so far a clear heter to do it. It's all with the evedish. Now, the next halacha, I'm reading now from the mechaber. Kol heicha da asrin hatmana. Afilu bekedera mubusheles kortzorko asrinan, va'afilu mit stomach v'raloi. The mechaber is very machmer over here. So it goes in one notch up. Not only it's also because mit stomach v'yofeloi, even mit stomach v'raloi, you still cannot do hatmana. Let's say I don't want it should get heated up more than it is. It's gonna dry up the meat. No, it's also to do hatmana in no shape and form according to the mechaber. Comes the Ramo, he says. V'chen iker. First of all, he says v'chen iker like the mechaber. Then he says v'yesh mekilim v'amr the whole shu chay legamre. Oy nizbashel kol tzorkoin mutar ba'atmona kamo b'shiu. That's kamo b'shihui, like leaving it before Shabbat. That's a Rashbam. He mentioned this again. Kamo shenizba liu b'siman reishnon gimel u'b'mokem shenohagu lohokel al pisvor ozeh en limchos beno aval en linok b'shar makoymas. If there is a minhag, they do that, so says don't rebuke them. If there's no minhag, he says don't start that minhag, which is, by the way, today you could say it's so much new, the whole Indian of the sous vide, really, there's no minhag, really. So if you're starting already, start the right way, don't make a new minhag that you do, that you samich on the Rashbam, so don't do it. Again, so far, Osur. We can use lachatchila. If you ask, don't use the sous vide. Now, here is from all this the punchline over here. Hatmana, that's I'm reading from the Ramah. Hatmana, all this Reish Nun Zayin. Hatmana she'osim b'medinas elu. Shematminim betanur. In this country, they do hatmana, they put it inside the oven. V'tochin piatanur betit. They used to put a mud around the opening of the tanur. This way, the only way you have access to the meat by breaking it. And there's a whole other halacha why they allow this on Shabbos when you need to eat the food, even though it looks like you're not allowed to build and you're not allowed to destroy on Shabbos. I'm not going into it. That's halacha l'maaseh. They used to do that. It's allowed of halacha. He says if you put a mud, you put some sealing around that you're not opening and closing it. If you open, that's it. It's gone. Your cover. He says you're allowed to do shore lekule alma. So the lotion of the Ramah and the lotion of many poskim, such a strong lotion. The Levushis Talmud brings this. If you have hatmana, but toch betit shore lekule alma, that's no problem. So it comes out like this. According to this, comes out in a sous vide. That if we're going to compare the same thing, because sous vide l'maisa, it's all this mitzad, we're coming to aser and mitzad lo plug. The whole idea is you might stir the coals, make the fire more. In a sous vide, there's no coals over there. Elamai, you're afraid on the controller, you might put the nature of this device, people put on one temperature, they don't want to change the temperature in the middle. They know what they want. They want 130, 150, 180. That's every caterer, every balabos know what type of meat he likes and how he likes to prepare it. They don't want to change in the middle. That's the derech. They never change it till they take it out. So the only elamai, like we said, we're comparing milsa and milsa, the way it used to be there in coals, now it's water. They used to be over there stirring the coals, might be you're going to change the temperature. So if you toch betit would be today, you seal it, meaning put a cover on your controller where you could. The only chashash you have today, there's no coals over there. You're not really going to stir the water. It won't change anything. The whole water is the same temperature. The only thing you could do is change the temperature in the controller. So if you cover the controller, it will be like toch batit, you mud it, the cover. There's no access to change the temperature. According to the Ramah, mutar l'kula alma. So that would be a heter l'choira to use the sous vide and the toch batit, mutar l'kula alma. There's one small problem. The Mogen Avram brings over here. He says, he sends you back to Reish Nun Dalet, and according to Bes Yosef, that method, what the Ramah brings, it doesn't help, he says. So, and that's how the Kaf HaChaim brings. According to Bes Yosef, he mentioned this. So comes out, again, the Pashtus, you would conclude, everybody follow the Ramah, all the Ashkenazim could use the sous vide if they cover the controller. And according to the Sfaradim would be they cannot use the sous vide. Okay, use old method, no sous vide for you for Shabbos. However, so I looked in the origin, with the Ramah where he sends you to, and if you look over there in Reish Nun Dalet at the end, the Bes Yosef said that. But the Machzah Shekel, he explains, and the way he does over here, it's very unusual. He says, tell you, he brings all the Gemaras, all the Rishonim to understand this halachas. He says, one thing, the summary of this is like this. When they argue the poskim about what you're allowed to do, what you're not, different opinions, it's not like they argue on Gzeres HaKosov. They argue on most of the time, it's more like scientific argument. Where's the chashash you might do Chilul Shabbos, if there is any concern. So they say the chashash is that far. Says, no, it's no more chashash over here. They all argue more a scientific, not Gzeres HaKosov, how do I understand the halacha? According to them, if the whole thing is more scientific argument, where we concern you might come to Chilul Shabbos, and that's and that's how we paskin if you should do it or should not do it. So if you look over there, the Bes Yosef did not say Gzeres HaKosov tuch batit is osur. He followed the poskim that still might be if you have a hole in the tanur, if you put over there not an open meat, an open chicken an open food, but you put it inside the kedera, inside the pot. So the whole idea is when you're opening the cover of the tanur, it might hurt, not going to help your food. The air coming in, since it's inside a pot, that's what he talks about over there, the B'si Yosef. So the wind coming in when you open doesn't hurt anything. It's inside the pot, so you still might do it. Again, it's all chashoshes if you might do it or might not do it, or you're not going to do it. So according to this, I would say, even according to the B'si Yosef, the sous vide specifically, not that the sous vide, probably the B'si Yosef say you're allowed to do it. Why? Because by the sous vide, there's no chashash of chitui in the water. It's just, we compare the water, it's like more low plug, since you're not allowed to put on a coals, you're not allowed to put on a water, like you see by the seal in Ansha Tveria. And over there, it's even worse than that, because over there, the water being heated on Shabbos, passing through Chame Tveria, it's a bigger problem than just keeping it warm before Shabbos. So the only chashash, lemaisa, practical chashash you have today in the sous vide, you might come to Chilul Shabbat. All that inyanim of shehiyah hatmana, that you might come to, it's isurim derabbanan, that you might come to isur deraisa by doing something you're not allowed to do on Shabbat. By the sous vide, the only thing could happen, you change the controller. The derech oilam, not to touch it, even during the week. They don't play with it. They put it on one setting, and that's how they take it. That's the whole chokhmah of the sous vide. It's steady on this temperature. And secondly, when you put on it the reminder, you put a like toch betit, you put over there a cover. So since there's no more scientifically, there's no chashash, you might play with it on Shabbos. Even the B'si Yosef probably would say it's okay to do it. So lemais like this, I see like this, the way according to the Ramah, if you take this concept of toch betit, l'gabe hatmana, l'kula al mashore, that should be allowed to use the sous vide. And even the B'si Yosef, I would say a pshat in the B'si Yosef in this scenario of the sous vide. If he would have it in his time, probably he would matir it for the reasons I explained. And one more header I want to give. By this header yesterday, the video went off. I hope this time it's not going to go off. And one more header I want to give. The whole idea, that's Lesman the Palik. The whole idea of hatmana, when it's fully covered, wrapped from all over. If it's not fully covered, it's not hatmana. It's already going to halachas of shehiyah, which is shehiyah. It's a lot easier halachas, different halachas. So mitzad hatmana, to asr the mitzad hatmana, if it's fully submerged in the water, only when the bag of the meat fully submerged. If it's sticking out,
The bag or the meat? Hatmana is on the food or it's on the kli?
Okay, now you ask me. So, okay, first of all, let's see what for sure going to be good.
Okay.
If the bag and some of the meat sticking out, for sure it's not hatmana already. It doesn't go begeder hatmana. Now we're going begeder shehiyah, which is a lot easier halachas. If it's ready before Shabbos, how much is ready? It's already a lot easier halachas. In most cases, would be then if it's a little bit sticking out of the water in the food itself. Let's say a little bit sticking out. That already would be shehiyah by shehiyah. It's a lot more eterim. If it's ready to edible before Shabbos, it's no problem. So if it's sticking, now the problem at home, you could do that probably, right? You could have the meat and the bag a little bit sticking out. It's not hatmana. Okay, you asked me a good question. Like so before I looked into it, let's say the meat should be a little bit sticking out also. Okay, that's not hatmana anymore. Probably it should be the meat also a little bit sticking out.
With the pot, you don't have to do the food. Or
The pot is not hatmana. With the pot,
if the pot was wrapped, you could leave a towel, leaving just the top of the pot over a part of the pot open. The food is completely wrapped by the towel. The food's completely wrapped. The part of the pot's not.
Oh, so you're saying it's
Why
so
would
the
it be
bag
different?
itself could be a
Bag
little
is
bit
the pot.
open. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Again, you asked me something I didn't look into it before. So lemaise, if it's a little bit open, not fully submerged, it should be allowed. And that l'choira it should be allowed l'kulam. But the only problem becomes that's when you do it at home. You could do that by commercials. When the caterers do that, they take big garbage container over there. You can have every piece of the bag or the meat sticking out. So either they could rely on the Ramah, by even according to what I said, even according to B'si Yosef, that's one heter. I think it's a solid heter, and legabe is sticking out at home. If you do that, that's another additional heter. If the food a little bit sticking out, that's not anymore hatmana.